Hi, it's Jack here, and today I am going to start a new series where you can ask me anything about blind you want. It can be anything as general as how long you've been blinding for, or something as specific as asking me to show you how to start a cycle or something in a specific scramble. Like, you can be as general or as specific as you want about your question. Preferably something I can show you in like video though, as opposed to like something I can probably just answer in text form. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna start off with the questions I got from Skype. But from here on out, you can just ask me any questions you want about blind in the YouTube comments below. Anyway, I'll just start off now. So, Jacka asks, when should I learn? Well, I'd actually recommend that you learn when you're sub 30, about in 3x3. The main reason not to like get a grasp of the puzzle because blindfolded solving's really different from normal solving. But actually so that whenever you're like practicing blind, like sided solves, and you screw up, you can solve the cube quickly again and try to do it again. So it's sort of like, if you average like a minute when you're learning blind, every time you mess up, you're gonna take like another minute to solve it and practice blind again, which can be pretty tedious and boring. Well, that's what I did. So when I started learning blind, I actually averaged a minute. And actually had my first blind success around 3 weeks after I first solved Rubik's Cube with my eyes open. It wasn't really the best idea. I didn't really... Another thing was that when I was like learning the algorithms, I was doing old Pokemon for both edges and corners. I learned like the algorithms like move by move instead of like grouping them into, for example, like the first 4 moves of T-Perm are like the sexy move, but I didn't know that at the time. So I guess there is a bit of other stuff involved, but it's mainly just solving the cube quickly after you've already scrambled it and by accident while doing blind and stuff. So yeah, just for that convenience. Next up, from Nick Cubing, how hard was it for you to learn blind? As long as you're determined and you're really interested into learning blind, it should be. It's not as nearly as difficult as people might think it is. Like, you probably already know by now, like, blind, well, isn't as difficult as it seems to the general public that it is for you, but you could probably learn how to do blind in a week, at most. Like, it probably took me around, like, 2 weeks, but I was, like, 1 week after learning how to solve the cube with my eyes open, which is a completely different story. So yeah, definitely leave a week for yourself and you can definitely learn blind pretty easily. Next question. How long does it take for you to learn blind by the MH Cuber? Well, I just answered that, so moving on. From Cuba's RME, did you have to fight U negative side? Did you have to persevere? Well, like I said before, as long as you're determined, you won't have much of a problem. There's not much else to say about that. Like, I was annoyed at times when I couldn't learn, like, the algorithms for, like... I learned old Pokemon for both edges and corners. But... yeah, I was really interested in blind at the time, so... I didn't really have to fight my negative side. It was just, like, all positive for me, I guess. Plus, I had, success on my second solve. Like, had it taken more solves for me to get a success, would have been, a bit less motivational for me. Second last question by Rishi. How long does it take to learn all the freestyle algs? Well, I learnt, so far I've only learnt the entirety of freestyle corners. That took about, well, I sort of started learning like one sticker, or maybe like around 20 out of the 300 or so comms in freestyle corners for a month, and then I just kind of stopped, and then I just kind of crammed in all the other comms throughout January and February. But overall, disregarding the breaks is about 2 months. But if you're as hardcore as someone like Jay McNeil, you can definitely do it in 1 month. But if you're sort of like learning other stuff in the middle, or you're just busy, 2 months should be satisfactory. Next question, last question. What is something that requires something other than practice in blind to get good at? I get what you mean. Like, he's referring to practice as like ordinary practice, like actually doing blind. Good thing about blind is that there are lots of isolation exercises you can do. You can just do sided solves, you can do corners only, edges only. When you're doing freestyle, you do commutative practice. There's all those types of like isolation exercises. So if you're struggling on memo, you can try to push your memo in like normal solves, or do something like give yourself 20 seconds to memo the cube, and then try to do it blindfold and see how much there is left that you have to do. Something along the lines of that is really good. Or if you suck at execution, then you can do edges only solves if you're DNFing edges, or corners only solves if you're DNFing in corners. But isolation exercises always help with that type of stuff. But anyway, that's all I have for now. This paper was useless because everyone asked these general questions. So if you have more specific questions, like if you can't start a new cycle or something in a certain scramble, then yeah, this will be more beneficial to you. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching, as I said before. Bye.